What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lips, and we are going to another edition of Stock Up, Stock Down, where we take one team from the East, one team from the West, and we see who's playing well and who is not. Starting in the West, we're going to go with the Seattle Kraken, team that is playing really well right now. Their stock is on the rise as they are 7-1-2 in their last 10 games, and it hasn't really been flashy, but they're winning games. Now, Seattle's a team that I don't think a lot of people expected too much from, really. They only made the playoffs once in their entire history, although it is a short history. But they don't even have a 30-point score on their team, and yet they're right there in the thick of things. This recent hot stretch has left them within 2 points on top of the Pacific Division, and maybe they can squeak into the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see. Nothing flashy. They just are finding ways to win. And the Pacific is a lot weaker than the Central. Maybe they can squeeze in. Speaking of teams in the Pacific, one team that is not doing well right now is the Anaheim Ducks. Now, they are losers of 9 in a row after that hot start. The team looked very good after adding a few veterans in the offseason, after having Joe Quenneville as a coach, guy who's won 3 Stanley Cups. I liked Anaheim a lot going into the season, and the start of the season, they were very, very good. But they have cooled off considerably. Their defense is getting lit up. Their goaltending is not great. And you got guys like Chris Kreider who got off to a very hot start, and he's struggling a little bit now, not nearly as hot. They're going to rely on Leo Carlsson to come in and be the superstar that he was earlier in the season. Cooled off a little bit. Joel Quenneville's a veteran coach. You know he's going to know what to say to these guys to get them going. They have the talent. They have the veterans. They also have some cap space if they need to make a move. So don't be surprised if Anaheim does maybe try to add a piece at the deadline to shore up their roster and make a push for the playoffs, because Joe Quenneville is going to be one part of a rebuilding team. He's going to want to win now. So we'll have to see. But for right now, Anaheim is really struggling. Their stock down in the West. Heading over to the East. Now, there's a couple teams we could do for stock up. Tampa Bay's won 9 in a row. We talked about them last week, so I'm going to go with the Buffalo Sabres. I could have talked about Buffalo last week, but I'm going to talk about Buffalo this week. They are winners of 12 out of 13 games, and they look really, really sharp. Buffalo has always produced good talent. They've always had talent on their roster. It's just a matter of they couldn't put it together. There's been multiple players on this Buffalo Sabres franchise that have went on to win Stanley Cups elsewhere and been key contributors on playoff teams, just not in Buffalo. Well, maybe the tide is starting to turn. They have a ton of guys producing up and down the lineup, led by Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch, Rasmus Dahlin. They're all big contributors to the roster right now. So why not Buffalo? And honestly, the East is wide open. Maybe they add a piece of the deadline. There's rumors that they're interested in Artemi Panarin. I mean, that'd be a big fish. That would definitely change the East a little bit and the landscape of everything. But for right now, Buffalo is playing really, really well. Still a long way to go. They're in a playoff spot. For right now, they could break that 14-year drought. It would be interesting to see. And for stock down, as much as I want to talk about the New York Rangers, and the New York Rangers have been really bad. They've only won 1 game since Christmas. That was the Winter Classic. They just lost 10-2 in Boston. Honestly, they've given up 15 goals in 5 periods since Igor Shesterkin's been out. So the Rangers are in deep, deep trouble. But there is a team that's probably in a little worse trouble. That would be the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa is not doing well on or off the ice. There's a lot of turmoil in the locker room. Allegedly, Allmark had cheated on his wife, and there's talks of perhaps that he ratted out a couple other teammates that were cheating on their wives or girlfriends. The whole story is kind of being hush-hush. Even their general manager made a statement on it. But nonetheless, it seems that they're not all on the same page, and you can tell on the ice as they're losers of 4 in a row. Ottawa's Achilles heel has been goaltending this season, where they have just been getting inconsistent play. If they get stable play in goaltending, they usually win the game. But with inconsistency in goaltending and their defense can be a little sloppy, they're on a rough patch right now, and they find themselves towards the bottom of the Atlantic Division. which isn't good after breaking their playoff drought last year and making it back to the playoffs. I really thought they'd be a team that would be right back there again and maybe even make some noise. I like the roster. I like the makeup of them. I think they have talent. I think they have grit. But they're struggling right now, and if you can't get consistent play in net, it can be hard to make the playoffs. But that'll do it for today's episode here today, guys. Let me know what you think. If you agree with me, leave a like. If you disagree, leave a comment. As always, I am on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Subscribe, follow, check out my stuff. I appreciate all the support on the channel. Thank you, guys, and have a great night.